7 and retired military personnel receive 3-month salary increase.
Troops rescue thousands, eliminate over 8,000 terrorists in major security operations.
What this means is that we delivered damage to the terrorist fighting capabilities as well as their military capabilities.
Federal government takes step forward in disaster preparedness with launch of Hazard Risk Analysis Document 2024.
And implement policies that promote a nation based on risk. A nation.
And good morning, Nigeria. Today we shall focus on the National Hospital, Abuja, driving sustainable healthcare.
Well, the National Hospital, Abuja, with its 850-bed capacity, is not just a public hospital, but also a hub for general medical services and specialized care. Did you know that, Yenre?
Absolutely, Victor. And it's impressive how broad their services are, from psychiatric care to hematology, the National Trauma Center, dietetics, pharmacy, and even in vitro fertilization. It really shows how comprehensive healthcare can be.
And no doubt about that, this place was actually conceived back in 1999, intended to be a referral center. Imagine the vision behind it.
I also heard it was supposed to be for women and children. And somehow the men got incorporated. Did you lobby for that?
Well, I took the lead.
All right. Since then, it's been delivering quality services to Nigerians. The hospital is also making strides in research, medicine, and surgery, always looking to break new ground.
You're right, Yenre, and in fact, they've made significant progress in healthcare delivery and advanced surgeries. Now, the goal is to reposition the hospital as a top medical establishment in Nigeria.
Definitely worth celebrating. And today on Good Morning Nigeria, we'll be taking a closer look at how the National Hospital of Abuja is driving sustainable healthcare. I'm Ray John.
And I'm Victor. As welcome to Good Morning Nigeria, the final episode for this week. We promise you an informative show.
Thank you for joining us. As you know, we're live on the network service of the NTA. We're right here at our headquarters in Abuja. So you want to stay tuned as we kick off things with the morning news. But don't forget that the municipal review would be coming up in the course of the program. Then Chukwudi Okulu will join us. And with us at the moment is Ogo Chukwuka Ona, and she's got all the news that we need to know. Ogo, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ere, and good morning, Victor, and good morning, Nigerians. Now, the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Mohammed Matawale, has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for ensuring the prompt payment of military salary increases and pension arrears. Dr. Matawale confirmed that military personnel have started receiving alerts for the 3-month salary increase. He praised President Tinubu's commitment to the welfare of serving and retired military personnel. In the statement signed by Henshaw Ogubike, Director of Information and Public Relations, the Minister of State for Defense also acknowledged the support of the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, in facilitating these payments. Dr. Matawale urged the Nigerian military to remain steadfast, assuring them of President Tinubu's commitment to boosting their morale and combating insecurity. He reiterated the military's vital role in ensuring national security and praised their contributions to combating insurgency and terrorism. Now, troops have eliminated 8,034 terrorists, apprehended 11,623 suspects, and rescued 6,376 kidnapped victims between January and December 2024. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, gave the figures at a bi-weekly briefing in Abuja. Details indicate that more than 8,000 terrorists have been eliminated from January to December 2024, including more than 500 known and wanted leaders and commanders of terrorist groups, violent extremist organizations, and criminal gangs.
The various theaters has culminated in over 8,000 terrorists neutralized and over 11,000 of them arrested, even as we rescued over 6,376 hostages.
The Defense Headquarters also disclosed that the military, in collaboration with other security agencies, has heightened its state of readiness to ensure that no terrorist group or criminal element disrupts peace and security during the festive season. The federal government has taken a significant step in strengthening the country's disaster preparedness efforts. The Nigeria Hazard Risk Analysis 2024 document has been launched, aimed at identifying and mitigating potential hazards across the nation. Vice President Kashim Shettima reaffirmed the government's commitment to safeguarding lives and property from ecological and other risks during the launch.
The launch of the Nigeria Hazard Risk Analysis is not the conclusion of our pursuit of stability. Instead, it is a springboard for our aspiration to develop and implement policies that build a nation less prone to risk, a nation.
Meanwhile, in an attempt to stem subsisting challenges associated with addressing the system in Nigeria, the federal government is set to reinvigorate the National Addressing Council. The decision was taken during a pre-meeting of the council chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the Presidential Villa.
This is more than complicated systematic addressing mapping. It undermines trust in address verification, and the consequences ripple far and wide. Inefficient governance, logistical bottlenecks, delayed emergency responses, and the exclusions of many Nigerians from the financial services.
And now politics. The Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party has expressed displeasure over the National Working Committee's inability to convene a National Executive Committee meeting as previously scheduled for 28th of November this year. Chairman of the board and former President of the Senate, Adolphus Wabara, during the BOT meeting at the National Secretariat of the party in Abuja, emphasized that the emergency meeting aims at resolving internal party issues and planning for future electoral engagements.
We urge the NWC to rise to the occasion, demonstrating leadership and responsibility by making sure that the time fixed next year, February, to convene the NEC meeting is adhered to.
And in the meantime, stakeholders on the platform of the governing All Progressives Congress have appealed to Nigerians to actively participate in the act of governance, particularly at the subnational and grassroots levels of the country. This was during a media briefing on major developments that cut across energy, infrastructure, social investment, and tax, where the present administration was given a pass mark for taking tough decisions that will eventually put the economy on the move for progress.
The moment Mr. President roll out a project to the state governments, it is the responsibility of Nigerians to follow it up from there, to understand that this is no longer a problem of a federal government.
Some stakeholders appreciate the local government autonomy, which will attract more democratic dividends, and appealed for the recognition of Confederation of all APC support groups, led by its Director General, Professor Muhammad Keilani. And those are the news highlights. Good morning, Nigeria. We'll continue with Ere and Victor, but this will be after the break.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying demand. We make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Each ethnicity is unique, we have more than destination.
We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
The Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, FNIPR, cordially invites Commissioners of Information and Orientation and Strategy, Permanent Secretaries, stakeholders in the information sector, public communication managers, marketing communicators, and the general public to the 48th edition of the National Council on Information and National Orientation, holding in Kaduna City, Kaduna State. The National Council is the highest policy decision body in the sector and is expected to deliberate on the theme, Enhancing Public Information Management for Inclusive Governance, with the renewed hope agenda in focus, and make critical decisions. The council meeting is scheduled as follows. Dates: 11th December 2024, arrival. 12th December 2024, technical sessions. 13th December 2024, council meetings. Venue: Hotel 17, number 6 Tafawa Balewa Way, Lafia Road, Kaduna City, Kaduna State. Time: 9 a.m. daily. Mrs. Comfort Ajiboye, Director, Overseeing Office of the Permanent Secretary. Announcer.
Win a brand new car. Make a purchase of 10 million naira or more at any Vento Furniture store and stand a chance to drive home a brand new car.
Vento Furniture, addictive quality.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Milo Energy Snacks, snack of future champions. Milo!
The world needs mums. With a splash of golden Terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Change no thanks into yes please. Resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty family meals is all that matters. Where there are moms, there is love. Golden Terra oil, or pure love.
Nivea Pearl and Beauty Deodorant. With natural pearl extracts and avocado oils for soft, smooth, and beautiful underarms. The perfect balance of 48-hour protection and care with delicate fragrances. Feel the power of pearls. Nivea Pearl and Beauty for soft, smooth, and beautiful underarms. Try our new Pearl and Beauty Black Pearl for smooth and perfumed underarms.
My champs, they use energy at school.
Your champs need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast.
It has nutrients that support energy release.
Milo! The counsel of our fathers.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
They swore an oath to serve our fatherland and defend the people. They traded their freedom, comfortable homes, and mortgaged their lives on the battleground for our unity and peaceful living. These are the great, loyal, and committed Nigerian armed forces who risked their lives courageously to safeguard our borders. But in the line of duty, many never returned. Nigerians, arise, let's celebrate our fallen heroes. Put on the remembrance emblem to support the incapacitated and families of our fallen heroes.
Thank you for your patriotic commitment to Nigerian unity, stability, and progress.
parastatals, religious and corporate bodies to donate generously to the Emblem Appeal Launch. Send your donations to these accounts. Account name, Emblem Appeal Launch. Account number 393-200-7526. EcoBank Nigeria PLC.
Why do we have to arrange all the goodies into a tower? We should all take what we want, as we want, and when we want.
From pets, it's important to secure the goodies and protect them for everyone. We want to make sure there's enough for everyone, even on a rainy day.
I don't see the point.
Oh no! Our tower! No! From pets!
Oh, sorry.
This is a perfect example of how one poor choice can bring down something so great.
And our one small good action can make a big difference.
Remember, everyone, let's focus on making the right choices and doing small acts of goodness. Together, we can build something even more magnificent for everyone and ensure that it lasts.
Thanks for staying with us on Good Morning Nigeria. Up next for us is Newspaper Review.
All right, we have Chukwudi Okoli-Ogbaja with us this morning. Chukwudi, good to see you. Good morning.
Yeah, Ray. How are you doing?
Very well.
Victor.
Chooks the boy, you truly look like Chooks the boy after boogieing down yesterday.
I didn't boogie anything. It was people that reminded me it was my birthday. I didn't come into the world for worldliness. Without being worldly, I'm louder than the parrot. Imagine adding worldliness to it. That becomes a double barrel attack, a bad accident.
Anyway, we'll deal with all of those after the program.
Well, who determines whether you're worldly or not? You or those who watch you?
He assesses himself.
The spectator sees most of the game. Yeah, English proverbs. I used to like them. You know? Yeah.
All right, so let's see what the papers have this morning. Let's begin with the People's Daily. And it leads with DHQ, Defense Headquarters. Troops kill 2,918 terrorists, arrest 2,285 suspects, rescue 1,496 in 2024. Above that lead story, we have bill to prohibit gas flaring, scales second reading at reps. PDP BOT triggers process to elect new national chairman. All right, away from politics now, we can see a picture story here, and of course the president is right here. Away from that, just below the picture story in the black strip, we have federal government launches hazard risk analysis for disaster preparedness. Below that, NAF acquired 64 brand new aircraft in 3 years. Tax reform bills. Muric advises presidency to consult widely, build trusts. Dangote Cement trains 48 solar energy entrepreneurs. And next to that, we have weakness of opposition parties threatening Nigeria's democracy, ADC national chairman says. All right, that's all on the front page of the People's Daily this morning. Victor.
Thank you, Henry. Let's get to the Vanguard. And it leads with this story. Tax reform bills. Akpabio overrules Barau, says bills not withdrawn or suspended. Vows Senate won't be intimidated by external pressures. Senate removes Monguno from committee. South senators back bills, pass confidence vote in Akpabio. Reform must enjoy political, technocratic acceptability. That's according to Fayemi. And finally, Arewa youths call Northern elites bluff, declare support for reform. All that story is on page 5 of the Vanguard. And then at the bottom of the front page here, PDP crisis, BOT decries shift of neck meeting, asks North Central to nominate Ayu's replacement, page 9. And 2027, Jonathan's posters with new political platform, flawed Kanu, page 9. 2026 World Cup qualifiers, Onazi queries Super Eagles' commitment. That's in sports. And how we tackled 97% OML 17 oil theft. Ask Tony Elumelu for answers on page 8. And 4 LP reps decamp to APC. That one is on page 9. Above the nameplate, OPEC extends Nigeria's 1.5 million barrels per day oil quota to 2026, page 19. 10,000 people die in military custody over Boko Haram conflict. That's attributed to Amnesty International, and it's on page 8. Privatization of power sector, total failure. That's according to Senate, and it's on page 26. And finally, Farotimi, activists group plan nationwide protest December 10, and it is on page 10. But Mr. and Mrs. have something also to share with Chukwudi. I don't know. You told me the gathering that you won't. You told the gathering that you won't mind if your husband marries another wife. Are you serious? Asks Mr. And Mrs. says, why not? But that is when he's over 87 years. At that time, he'll be in the same category as a Nigerian used car.
Useless.
I don't get into domestic issues. They are very complicated by nature.
The man sounds a lot like you. That's why I read it.
We want to see whether we can analyze a few things in the papers. And I choose to start with how many people did you say that troops killed among the insurgents and the bandits and all that?
10,000 people
Whatever the number
die
is.
in military custody.
No, that's Amnesty International. Amnesty International is always seen telling you that the cup is half empty of water. When our troops do well, Amnesty does not say that. That's not to say, for crying out loud, if I have anything in the world, it's journalism. But I am interested in journalism that balances up the situation. You don't come sarcastic, vindictive, activist, and atavistic and call it journalism. We must always respect the boundaries of factuality, fairness, accuracy, objectivity, and balance. Chukwudi is always a problem in the newsroom anyway.
But the journalist in you, like you would always say,
yes,
that the journalist should investigate,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Every case should be treated on its merit.
Yes.
So don't say, oh, that they always do the antagonistic.
I am tutored by history. Tell me when Amnesty International has praised our forces. Balance makes life what it is, makes life tech. Having said that, yesterday I watched the Chief of Defense Staff from 4 to 5 p.m. and I want to say that I listened to an exceptionally brilliant, straight-talking Army General whom I am proud to associate myself with as a Nigerian. I'm not a praise singer. I mean, if I jump from one newsroom to 8 newsrooms at the last count, that will tell you that I'm a restive, restless journalist. But I want to say that what I heard from this man yesterday, he said, it is not that there are no bad eggs in the army. When we get those people who are part of the bunkering we court-martial them, we deal with them. We are not saying we are a unit of angels and all that. When I hear men talk in a balanced manner, they win my heart easily. That makes him the third person I am celebrating on the air. Zulum, the NDLEA man, and now General Christopher Musa. Look, it was entertaining. And he said something that I took away. The worst person to fight in life is a man or woman who has nothing to lose. Look, people teach me. I was taught yesterday. Having said that, the army, the Navy, the Air Force, the other paramilitary forces have a job to make this country more secure. They should never rest on their oars. I didn't come here to teach. Rumpus in the Senate. What they have to do is to make sure that this does not pick any ethnic coloration at all. I said it's to me more of a geopolitical matter. I don't join people in telling you this an Hausa man, Igbo man, Yoruba man, and all that. In fact, if the Ministry of Information and National Orientation were to say, hey, join part of the messaging here, we should begin to call people Southwest people, Southeast people, North Central and all that. Nigerians have given a bad name to Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa. Messaging matters. But having said that, my dear brothers and sisters, brother and sister, the Senate must never, the lawmakers of Nigeria must never give an ethnic coloration to what is happening now. I call it democracy being tested. Somebody said the other day, what are they talking about? Yaradua wanted us to have 10% in the Niger Delta. They ended up giving us 3%. That is ethnic coloration. That is divisive talk. I'm looking for noble Nigerians who will come and talk about Nigeria in a noble manner.
But in this case, to be fair, Chukwudi, you've had supporters and antagonists from every
sides. I agree
part
with you.
of this country.
I just mentioned somebody whom I felt... You can't say it
has ethnic coloration.
Well, I just mentioned somebody. I didn't want to say the name. I'm a journalist. I have to say things the way I hear them. That person must not give a bad coloration to the talk which has been brought so far. Let us handle the tax bills with a very noble and strict mind. I've come here to tell you that our newsrooms are now populated by people, some people who may not even bear the name journalists. So it's not as if I'm talking about politicians only. You understand? Nigeria can only be made good by a gathering of Nigerians that do not succumb to tribe or religion. They used to write, he was a detribalized Nigerian. Then when they were celebrating the exit of some people, you don't get to read it in the papers anymore. Those old journalists were trying to make a point about nation building. So the rumpus in the National Assembly should never be allowed to degenerate to ethnic coloration. It has not taken us anywhere at all.
Exactly. All right, and staying with the National Assembly, the Senate is saying that privatization of power sector has been a total failure.
Yes.
What say you?
You don't know the interest of the person who said it.
Senate.
That's the point.
It's not a person.
We are journalists, okay? It's not a person who said it?
Senate is not a person.
Okay, the Senate.
It's attributed
so
to the
Senate. They have agreed either in plenary or in committees and all that. Those are their two platforms for working for us. If they've agreed, then it becomes there. The question you now ask is, who are those who have contributed to the failure of these institutions we are talking about? I came here the other time and said, I interviewed a police commissioner when he was in Lagos, and he said, Chukwudi, a society gets the kind of police force it deserves. You want the police force to become angels in a sea of wrongdoing, you will... I say, I'm putting this on the air. Go ahead and put out what I said. It is time for Nigerians to search their souls and come out with what will help the green, white, green. I'm sorry if I'm sounding a bit, didactic this morning. Anywhere I see people talking tribe, I walk away. I don't know about my colleagues. I said something the other time. I said, the typical Nigerian needs social etiquette. Watch them at the office. They get into a confusion over an official matter. The next thing you see them, they go into tribal cocoons to talk about a general matter in their different languages. They are uncivilized people.
Very true.
No, but that's why there are caucuses across board.
Victor?
Caucus, whatever. But
you
it's
and I will keep on fighting on this program.
We can have this a conversation on the boundary of Ubulokiti and this Soluku.
Make sure there's palm wine, otherwise I won't be.
That will not happen because I'm here. All right.
Peacemaker,
we need to take a break. Many thanks, Chukwudi. You have indeed spoken well this morning.
Thank you so much.
And,
Nigeria must survive.
Of course, it will. So we'll take a break now. When we come back, we get into the conversation. We're talking about the National Hospital this morning. You don't want to touch it.
Ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CNG, the smart, cost-effective choice. Fill up for less and travel further. Save money, save the planet. Switch to LPG for cooking. It's cleaner, healthier, and better for environment. Say goodbye to smoke and eye problems. Do you know Nigeria is a gas nation ranked 9th globally with over 209 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve? Gas isn't just for cooking and driving. It powers industries too. Cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. And the best part, conversion centers are popping up everywhere. It's never been easier to switch to gas. Join the cleaner energy revolution. Choose LPG for cooking and CNG for your vehicles. Clean energy for brighter future. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, supported by the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
My champs, they use energy at school.
Your champs need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast.
It has nutrients that support energy release.
Nivea Dry Deodorant with 72-hour reliable odor protection from Dual Effect Formula for a dry and fresh skin feeling that gives you confidence every day. Nivea Dry is now available in 25 ml for 72-hour odor and sweat protection.
The federal government of Nigeria warns vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables, and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipments will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
The Council of Our Fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
I think Amaka should just move out of the house. Yes.
No. Standing out of the house is not the right thing to do.
Oh, there you go again with your sentimental family stuff.
Baby, if our aim is to stop this affair, it is best achieved under our roof.
You do something terrible and you'll be acting innocent.
What are you going on about?
Don't ask me that question again. You couldn't even control yourself in the presence of our visitors.
What are you accusing me of, woman?
My son, I don't know how serious you are with my daughter, but there's something that needs to be done urgently before you move any further.
Anything, just anything, just say it. I'm ready to do anything.
There is a spell that needs to be removed.
A spell?
Family forever, the story of our lives.
One of the better things about this season, now our better times together.
Oyo, time to go.
The not disturb me time. The dramatic time. The exciting time.
Me wait already since, but I don't wait for that now.
The nothing fit stop my shine time. With GoTV, it's easy to capture better times. Reconnect and watch GoTV with plenty football, new series, films, cartoon, lower price on Super Plus and more entertainment. Now better season for everybody with GoTV. Love it.
All right, welcome back. It's still Good Morning Nigeria live on the network service of the NTA. And just before we bring in the panel of guests for our conversation this morning, which is on the National Hospital Abuja, driving sustainable healthcare, let's take a look at this background report put together by our correspondent Ibrahim Dan Hamidu.
A healthy nation is a wealthy nation. This age-old adage rings true for any country striving for greatness. At the heart of Nigeria's healthcare system is the National Hospital Abuja, a beacon of hope and excellence in medical care. This iconic institution celebrates a remarkable journey of 25 years of sustainable success. Guided by its quality of care policy, the National Hospital Abuja has consistently delivered exceptional patient outcomes, earning the trust and confidence of the community it serves. From pioneering medical research to providing specialized treatment for rare diseases, the hospital has established itself as a leader in Nigeria's healthcare landscape. Beyond its walls, the National Hospital Abuja has been actively engaged in community outreach programs, promoting health education, disease prevention, and social welfare initiatives. These efforts have not only improved health outcomes, but also fostered a sense of community and social responsibility. As the National Hospital Abuja celebrates its 25th anniversary, it is clear that its impact extends far beyond the hospital's walls. It is a testament to the power of sustainable healthcare and a reminder that, together, we can build a healthier, more prosperous Nigeria. The National Hospital Abuja, 25 years of service, pride, and success. Join us on Good Morning Nigeria as we discuss the hospital's remarkable journey and the future of sustainable healthcare in Nigeria.
All right, many thanks, Ibrahim Dan Hamidu, for that background report. And joining us now in the studio for this conversation on National Hospital Abuja driving sustainable healthcare is Professor Mohammed Raji Mahmood, Chief Medical Director, National Hospital. A pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
We also have joining us here Dr. Cephas Bata, Chairman, Organizing Committee, National Hospital Abuja Silver Jubilee Anniversary. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Nigerians.
All right, we're also being joined here for the conversation by pharmacist Clara Adeshola, HOD Pharmacy, National Hospital Abuja. Many thanks for joining us, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's begin with the CMD. You had the rare privilege of hosting the First Lady and the Minister of Health and Social Welfare, as well as his deputy. What are the key takeaways from that event, if you may?
Well, thank you so much for this question. And once again, thanks for having all of us, myself and my team, and by extension, the National Hospital in this year's studio. Yeah, the key takeaways, one, the love for Nigeria. The First Lady has shown us how much she loves Nigeria. So also, I mean, a similar manner that we have seen that love shown in her own husband, our president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we have also seen such similar love from our ministers. And we have seen dedication. Both of them, the two ministers as well as the First Lady, were actually engaged for that day. But they created their time to come be with us, celebrate with us, because it's a momentous occasion for the National Hospital as well as Nigeria. And when we have also seen the foresight of these leaders that we have. You were there when, I mean, your team was there when you had the First Lady recognizing the former First Lady Mariam Abacha because of her input, or rather, she was the one who conceived National Hospital, actually, the idea of National Hospital. So we have seen that respect in these two ladies. And then we have seen that willingness to show us the light and hope that the leadership of the country will support the National Hospital to the greater heights, to get to the level that it needs to be. That's been the quaternary care hospital on the Nigerian land, where all our tertiary facilities can now refer patients to. So I think that would really bring succor and significant hope to Nigerians and our neighboring countries.
Many thanks, Prof. You know, I did watch that event. It was live on the network service of the NTA. So I did watch, and of course, I saw that the radiotherapy center has been renamed to Mariam Abacha Radiotherapy, something like that. Exactly. Anyways, you tell us about all of that. But, you know, maybe you should start by telling us if this 25 years of the existence of the National Hospital is worth celebrating in the first place. Has there been significant progress and improvement? Tell us some of the things that have improved in the last 25 years and why you deemed it fit to celebrate this anniversary.
Okay, first, I think the National Hospital should have been celebrated every single day because every single day, staff of the National Hospital and the hospital itself saves a lot of lives. It puts a lot of joy and happiness into so many people's lives. It continues, it assists in having continuum of families. So I think this is worthy of celebration every single day. However, since you cannot celebrate every single day, it's obviously not possible. You need to have some, once you achieve some certain milestones, to really sit down to reflect where you've come from, where you are at the moment, and then what you need to do in the future. So that's the essence of having such celebrations during those milestones. If for some of you that have been around when National Hospital first came into being 25 years ago, you would know that the mandate was only to cater for women and children. Within a few years, when the government of that time saw the potentials in National Hospital, it decided to expand the mandate to involve all ages and all genders. So that meant from then on, the increase, there's some increase in terms of facility, in terms of manpower, and in terms of the number of departments to be created. As at that time, probably we had like, say, 5, 6 departments. Now you're talking about close to 50 departments. So, and with that expansion means the services also rendered to Nigerian citizens and also people from neighboring countries had increased. National Hospital has been a pace setter in the country in terms of healthcare, in the healthcare space. We have been the first in so many things. One of such is IVF, or assisted reproduction. National Hospital was the first institution to, the first public institution to start having assisted reproduction. So that had given a lot of hope to people who couldn't have afforded that kind of service either out of the country or even within the country from private hospitals. So that's the first. Second, National Hospital was the first hospital to have what we call a linear machine, linear accelerator, which is used in the treatment of cancer care in the whole of the West African sub-region. And since then, it had made its mark in cancer care worldwide. National Hospital has been recognized in that regard. National Hospital is about the first also to have nuclear medicine department and nuclear medicine facility for both diagnosis and for treatment.
What do you mean by nuclear medicine facilities?
That is an advanced technique through which you would use just the normal way the body processes what we call physiology, normal physiology of an individual, to really see if there's anything that has gone wrong by using a certain specialized camera. The person takes in a pill or you inject some certain whatever, and then the camera now picks that as that chemical is passing through the system. It can easily diagnose, for instance, typical thing that's commonly diagnosed is this thyroid diseases, from thyroid, what we call hyperthyroidism, to some certain inflammatory disease of the thyroid, to cancer of the thyroid. So also so many diseases. And also if one has, for instance, some cancer that has metastasized to some bones that you cannot easily see with conventional investigative materials, that nuclear medicine does that. And now with time, research is expanding the use of nuclear medicine. So that's one other. National Hospital also, if you go to our neonatal care unit, has also been a first in a number of instances. They adapted and fabricated on their own, locally, what we call a CPAP, something that assists neonates that are very tiny babies that are premature, preterm babies, to stay alive. And that we have taught to a number of hospitals within and outside the country. National Hospital got an award because of that. Trauma care. National Hospital is the first institution to have level 4 trauma facility in the West African, in sub-Saharan region. And it's the second hospital in the whole of the continent of Africa to have such a level of trauma care. There are so many firsts.
It's a long list,
yes.
CMD, and of course, like you said, so many firsts. So this celebration is very important because of all that the National Hospital has achieved. But let's get to Dr. Bata now. He's the chairman of the organizing committee of this anniversary, and listening to the CMD. I mean, staff of the National Hospital should really be excited, about this and what it has achieved. But let us know, what are the activities like for this anniversary, and are there plans for improvement, or the hospital intends to, with the first, remain with those first or get other first? Let us know.
Thank you very much for hosting me, and good morning, Nigerians. The journey began in March this year when the committee was inaugurated by the management of the hospital. We were selected, I think, based on our commitment, and then some of the activities the management deemed fit that we were able to carry on with this assignment. Well, most of us, it's not just, okay, you guys will just come and leave what you're doing and just focus on this committee. We have other things we're doing as well, alongside the committee work. But what really interested me was the commitment of all of us in that committee. We had a task to do, and one was to put up a very befitting 25th anniversary celebration, and also alongside it, we also to host the chief of medical directors and medical directors of tertiary and teaching hospitals in Nigeria. That was because it coincided with the anniversary celebration. Then, at the first date, we have slated it for 2nd of September to 8th of September. For whatever reason, we have to postpone it to this date that we're now celebrating. Now, the event actually started with the unveiling of the logo, which was on the 2nd of December. Our past chairman of the board was the one that unveiled it. It was meant to showcase what National Hospital is, 25 years of existence in service delivery, uninterrupted. Also, we had a brief media interactions where questions were asked. I'm sure those are in the public domain. And after that, we had a medical outreach, which was in the neighborhood, Kalmojiji, just outside the city gate. We have reasons for selecting that community. First, they gave us the land where National Hospital is sited. It was meant to be their farmland. So we felt that we need to give them back, the sacrifice, to pay them back on the sacrifice they made for us. And then it was followed with the symposium, which CMD presented some very good and insightful strategic plan for National Hospital, what it meant to be in the next 4 years and beyond. Of course, the other is our sporting activities, which is going on today and tomorrow, and then it will end up with the gala night and award night. So I think we are only celebrating the moment, but we are also celebrating the future. National Hospital, I believe, with the strategic plans in place, is going to bring the best in healthcare delivery in Nigeria. I can assure you that. CMD has mentioned some areas where National Hospital has made giant strides, and with the commitments and the plans he has in place, I believe that we are going to celebrate more years ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Bata. Let me speak now with the pharmacist, Deshola. We've talked about giant strides in many areas, and I'm wondering, in the pharmaceuticals where you hold sway, are there such strides to celebrate?
Thank you very much. Sure, there are a number of strides to celebrate. The hospital started in 1999, and at that time, we were just a few. I'm one of the pioneer staff, even though I was a little more junior than I am today. At that time, it was just a wing of a block we had as pharmacy. And in time, as the number of patronage clients increased, there was need for us to expand, and we're graciously granted space to expand. So right now, we have like 9 dispensing units from what used to be 1. And not just that, in terms of technology too, there has been advancement in the various arms of pharmacy. I give you example of 2. 1, oncology. At that time, we didn't have oncology pharmacy nor oncology pharmacists. So there was need to train. So we were trained, and then the need to establish an oncology pharmacies, of course, came up, particularly when the hospital was one of the first to be selected and upgraded to Center of Excellence, particularly for the management of cancer. So when that happened, there was corresponding need to also have the pharmacies developed to that level. So we were one of those that enjoyed that privilege offered by the government. And not just that, in the area of clinical pharmacy too, we had people trained who were able to offer clinical services to our patients in the wards as well as outpatient basis. And when we also come to the area of compounding, the mixing of medicine and mini manufacturing, we also have advanced in that field. We can now make a number of items. We make hand sanitizer, which was actually a saver, not just for the hospital, but some organizations that came that period during the era of COVID-19, exactly. And not only hand sanitizer, there are other extemporaneous preparations we prepare there. Drugs that are not readily available in some formulations, particularly formulations for children, but available for adults. We can convert it to a form, yes, or patients that are so bad that cannot take orally or swallow. In the area of mini manufacturing, we also advance in that area. We can make hand wash, we make antiseptic solutions for the hospital, and some other things we do for the hospital.
Thank you very much, pharmacist.
I was going to say, you know, you accused me this morning that the hospital was set up initially for women and children.
And that the men lobbied.
And that she asked me if we lobbied for it. So I'm going to ask you, because you're a pioneer, at what point did the vision, at what point did you see men as part of humanity?
Actually, the hospital was set up for women and children in 1999, according to the act of that year. And then in 2000, the mandate changed. Not that the men lobbied, I think the nation saw the need for the male counterpart to be part of it.
Of humanity.
She's just trying to be mild about it, but we know.
But if I would say this, I think, you know, part of the group, or the program that set it up was family support program, right? By the former First Lady. Yes. So I think when it's only, family is made up of not only the woman and the child. So
by the way,
there
how
has to
many
be a
female
complete family.
CMDs has the National Hospital had in the past 25 years?
So far none, and that's because...
Okay, we'll talk about that. That's a serious issue.
He's not the appointing officer. He can't tell you.
Anyways, that's a serious issue we need to take up. A hospital meant for women and children at inception, no female CMD. Okay. Anyways, let's talk about the strategic plan that you talked about during the symposium. Just expand that for us. What are these plans?
Yeah, you see, just like when you invited me here the last time I was in this studio, I told you I believe that Nigeria, for us to get things right, we need to have a plan. We are used to just doing things offhand and not really plan. By the time you start executing what's only in your mind, you won't last in this place, that place forever. And you get overtaken by routine every single day as a CEO, as a leader of any organization. So you will easily falter and get out of path. So lose your trajectory or lose focus. So, but when you have a plan that you would go, that starts as a roadmap, it's easier for you to really keep focus. That's one. Two, even if you are gone, maybe your tenure ends or some certain natural things happen, there can be continuity. So this is a system, not an individual. So that's the essence. So as soon as I came, I asked, is there a master plan for me to fall back onto? There was none. There was never a master plan in the National Hospital. So that's when I thought, sorry, not a master plan, a strategic plan. So that's when I thought it's important that we hire a professional to really get things right. And I'm very impressed. When we presented that, my whole management team was so all for it. So all for it. So they gave me a lot of support. We were able to get a very good company, an indigenous Nigerian company. We wanted to make sure that it's an indigenous company that will execute this. We can do it. Nigerians have all it takes to do the best thing that you can ever get. So we got them, and then we were really very happy with the way they handled things. They were very, very scientific about it. When they came to really interview people and get their data, you can't imagine that the whole of National FCT, they compartmentalized and sent their people to those communities to have some data regarding National Hospital. They interviewed people individually. So once all this data is, gets put together, looking at all other factors, they will then they're about now to give us all the compendium on how to go about it. But before then, I already have my own plans that they have all incorporated into their own strategic plan. One is, the most important thing is that, one, National Hospital has to be completely patient-centered. The hero and the person that we should all focus on is that client, that patient. So that's one. Two, we need to take National Hospital to the level that its mandate, the original mandate, has set it to be, and that is to be the apex hospital in West African sub-region. That takes a lot. It takes a lot of commitment, it takes a lot of funding, and a lot of resources. So, and amongst this, some of the things that I want to really pursue, besides welfare of my staff, is also to source for funding, and then there are 3 to 4 main projects that I want to execute within this little time that I have left. One is to have a presidential wing. And my reason for having that, okay, let me list them first. Presidential wing, to have a neurosciences institute, and to have modular clinic, modular theater. And then as of today, we don't have a permanent administrative block. We are just living on a borrowed space. So these are the 4 main projects I want to do. And I'll give you some of the reasons why I've chosen those things that I think are very important, not only to Nigeria, but to the whole sub-region of West Africa or Sub-Saharan Africa. For the presidential wing, Nigeria or Abuja hosts every single day leaders of missions.
Well, you have a VIP wing.
VIP wing is not good enough for some certain caliber of people.
But with this segregation, do you think that the average Nigerian, which this hospital was set to attend to, would get adequate care?
Yes. The Abuja hospital still exists. It's not gone. It's just a section that you are going to keep. For instance, now you can imagine now if, for instance, a leader of a country comes during speech slumps. Which hospital do you think here in Abuja or in Nigeria that you be comfortably be able to take him to?
So are you saying the VIP wing is not enough for that?
I am telling you, it is not completely good enough for, maybe it may be good for me, but it may not be good for the president of a certain country. It's not good enough. We should do things that are world standard.
But you know,
not just a certain
but
standard.
you know, there are reports from patients who patronize the hospital that, you know, staff and attention or the adequate medical care is given to those people who can afford it, who get to the VIP wing, compared to those who, you know, are in the general wing. Setting up a presidential wing will further create, you know, a big problem for those who cannot, you know, get into that so-called presidential wing.
Definitely it will not. Definitely it will not. So,
do you intend to get extra staff or different staff for that?
Of course. That's part of the strategic plan. That's why there's a strategic plan. That's what I'm telling you. It's not something that you just do offhand. It's scientific. So already we have a hospital that is there doing the services it's used to doing. In fact, even trying to improve on the services that we have met on ground and the efficiency of staff, because we are working on that as well. So all this will exist when you have some other thing that will cater for some certain specific aspect. That's also a need, actually. If a country, if the head of a nation gets a certain emergency, it will be a national embarrassment for the country if you cannot really adequately take care of him.
But there's a hospital in the villa. Don't you think that would take care of that?
I don't have jurisdiction to discuss that. I'm telling you of what we are discussing, what I have control over. Okay?
But going forward,
yes.
To what extent do you plan to deploy technology, you know, to achieve the next firsts and the next breakthroughs, if you are not already doing so now? And what amount of technology? What kind of technology?
We have gone far in things like that. We have gone far in digitalizations. All our medical records, 100%, are now digital. 100%.
So you don't sign any papers anymore?
No.
No paper trails?
No paper trails. Everything is digital.
You sign digitally?
Everything. Once you go into the hospital from your clock in as a patient, to the time you exit, everything is digital. It's computerized.
Including patient record?
That's what we're looking for, yes. So now the next phase that we will need to go to is, in fact, even our part of our accounting system.
I mean,
is digital.
sorry, patient's medical history is also digitized?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Completely digital, 100%. So we have gone into, now the phase that we are going into is human resource. Fully accounting is partially digital, not fully yet, because you have to marry it with that of human resource as well. So we want to finalize that of accounting. We need to. We are also working on having the stores and pharmacies already almost fully digitalized. The aspect of its procurement and supplies is only the part that is not digitalized. So by the time we deploy HR, stores, and fully that of accounting, the whole hospital
will be
now is
digitized.
completely.
But let's talk about welfare. You mentioned that earlier as being one of your plans, you know, to improve
No.
the welfare.
Okay, before we have not finished yet. He asked a very important question when we were talking about technology. And as for technology, we have really gone very far. Now we do a lot of minimally invasive surgeries. National Hospital, I think I was in Nigeria, was the first neurosurgeon to start endoscopic, some certain endoscopic procedures. Some people have started what we call endoscopic third ventriculostomies, but in terms of removal of brain tumors, we started at National Hospital. Yes, so a number of people like Dr. Obata, they use laparoscopic surgery to do a lot of things. So in terms of technology, and just last week, we launched our diaspora program, where we have started this program of double the double swing, where our colleagues from out of the country would come in, spend a couple of weeks in National Hospital during their breaks, and they'll be taking turns. We get them fully embedded with our other staff. So they teach the young residents, and then they interact with their colleagues, germinate ideas and skills. So, and it will be in various departments. By the time we develop it fully in National Hospital, we would then also extend it to other centers in the country. But when we were launching it, we did something as part of the launch, laparoscopic surgeries and robotic surgeries, which we would want to eventually make it a part of our system here. So that's value added.
I was talking about welfare,
yes,
you know, before you completed the answers to the technology question. You talked about welfare of staff. I want to know, what's the state at the moment as regards welfare? And then how many of your staff have jackpot? I want to know, because you intend to expand your services and you intend to get more staff. So I want to know what you're doing to retain what you have and, you know, to ensure that they get the adequate welfare requirements to remain in the National Hospital, and how you intend to take care of more staff that you want to get.
Okay. So let me first tell you that this is not the first time Nigerians are leaving the country. I know when I was a young medical student, a number of my teachers left for greener pastures to the, that was during the military regime, around, was it 84, 85? Yes, yeah, that was even before I went to university, and even by the time I went to university early. So, but then it plateaued and stopped. So what happens usually when things like that happen, the system tries to adjust, finds where the problems are, and tries to solve them. That was what happened last time, and that's what's happening now. Government has realized that for whatever reason, people were fleeing the country. So government tried to do its best. Now, there are some policies on ground. Through the president has really done a lot in that regard. The ministers of health have really done tremendously well in that regard to really make sure that some of the reasons that the push factors have been addressed. One of such is people think that salary is the primary cause. Salary may not really be the primary cause. Is the infrastructure and facility on ground that gives you the ability to practice your skills. That's what makes doctors happy. Salary is not usually primary. So that is being addressed now. Now, besides the funding that hospitals are able to get directly from the budget office, the ministry is able now to even get its own funding to intervene into these hospitals. Mm-hmm. So that will help us. Secondly, as for a national hospital, we have started looking outwards. We are interacting now with individuals, philanthropists, to come and assist. Thirdly, we may go into PPPs. We are going into PPPs with various companies or individuals within and outside the country. That way, facilities that may be difficult for us to procure through government processes because of bureaucracy or lack of funding, those PPPs will be able to give us avail us the opportunity to get them. That will help us retain people. That's what makes a lot of staff happy. She told you that they have started compounding things. I assure you, once you meet some of these people that are compounding or manufacturing in the pharmacy department, they will be there just being very happy, very proud that they are producers of these materials. Those are the things that really keep them within. And then when you go to National Hospital now, I assure you, you will be happy walking around the National Hospital because it's clean, neat, beautiful, aesthetic environment. You don't feel that pressure of the surrounding being as if, you are in the dungeon. So those are the steps that we are taking. And then to the fact that salaries are gradually being improved. by government with this minimum wage increase. There are a couple of other factors that once people see hope, they try to hang on to it. Now, Nigerians are seeing some hope. I assure you, that's why you can see the trend of the Japa syndrome I'm talking about has started reducing, it's plateauing.
I think I'll take you up on that and come take a walk around National Hospital. I haven't been there quite a while, and the last time I was there was for journalistic reasons.
It's not a tourist destination.
I will do tourism.
It is now. It is now.
But I was hoping that you would talk about telemedicine when you are talking about technology. Do you do a bit of that or a lot of it?
Oh, we do. We have telemedicine. In fact, we have, if you go to our radiotherapy department, we have a whole beautiful hall with telemedicine equipment. We also have a telemedicine cart, so like a bus that helps with telemedicine. So we have not pushed the paradigm so much, but I think, you know, some of these things come in phases. There are times when you pay attention to these and then you move on to these and you move on to that. But I think this is a facility that, an opportunity that we also, now that you've spoken about it, maybe you'll also push us further to really push the paradigm. But the one in radiotherapy unit is really, really functional. Every week, at least, they have that interaction like twice or thrice every week. But this is something that needs to be imbibed in virtually all the departments in the hospital.
All right, Dr. Bata, let's get to you. I understand that some equipment were inaugurated as you kickstarted your celebration with the Silver Jubilee. Tell us about some of this equipment and the reason why the hospital had to get them.
Well, thank you very much. The First Lady inaugurated the CT scan, the Canon, donated, I think, by the Vesta company. You know, the importance of Japanese government, sorry. Yes. The importance of a diagnostic imaging equipment is to help a clinician where maybe a particular disease is and what the extent of that disease is. And that's what we need the CT scan. This is a very, and this particular one is a high-speed CT scan, which is able to, has a high image resolution. You know, there are many types of CT scans that you have around, and the imaging may even be confusing. You maybe even know what the characteristics are, but this one has a high speed, so the image resolution is very fantastic. So that will help us actually in reducing the time of waiting to start up a therapy. So I think that's a milestone we achieved by getting this, and it is a partnership, like just he said, it's a partnership and collaboration by various stakeholders to be able to bring in these machines. It's a very huge amount of money to pay to get as individuals or as government to bring in these machines. So the First Lady was there. She had, the explanations about what the use of that machine is. We've had quite a number of them as well. We have a 1.5 Tesla MRI, which we're also using, but this is a very good addition to us. So I think in a nutshell, we in 25 years, we have, I think, achieved so many in the areas of diagnosis and management of different illnesses. And that also has, like somebody had hinted to me one time when we were interacting, he said, look, he had gone around medical facilities trying to identify where is the problem. And then he came to National Hospital, we were able to pinpoint that. And we say, okay, this is the disease. And we're able to also offer the therapeutic measures. And he's alive today. So that's a testimony of what, of what we have been able to offer our patients over these years.
All right, Pharmacist Adeshola, As part of what you are doing regarding this celebration, I was asking jokingly earlier, but now I want to ask seriously. Are you doing any form of giveaway?
Definitely, we've had cause to do some giveaway. We did some the day we had the symposium as gifts. And then we're also going to do some to patients.
I'm wondering what you give as gifts now at the National Hospital.
Okay, for patients, we even have mosquito nets.
Mosquito nets?
Yes. A lot of treated mosquito nets.
I was hoping you would do free surgery.
Yes, we do, exactly.
And
free
outreach.
Yes, during the outreach, of course, we gave a lot. Free consultation, free some of the lab investigations that could be done, free scanning, free drugs to patients in the community when we went for the outreach.
Really?
Yeah, at Karamajiji.
Okay, thank you very much, Pharmacist Adishola, for saying that on air. So those of us who need mosquito nets and all of that will begin to line up. So don't send us away when we come. Anyways, let's get to the CMD. I understand that the hospital has signed an MOU with some concerned medics. What is that about?
Okay, that has to do, actually how it started was that I was having a discussion with one of my colleagues who in medical school who now lives and works in the UK. So we started initially some program on exchange of medical students from the UK to come to National Hospital, at least be with us for like a month. And those students don't have to be Nigerians studying in the UK. So a number of them that came were actually even from people from various countries of the world studying there. So from there we discovered, well, why wouldn't we just expand it to involve doctors also? So initially we should start with Nigerian doctors working in the UK to experiment. If that works, then we can expand it to involve Nigerian doctors or even other doctors from other parts of the world so that they can come into Nigeria, embed within our departments, all the various departments. They will come voluntarily and at their own cost. The only thing we will provide as National Hospital and Nigeria, per se, is a secure accommodation. So the hospital now was able to identify 2 accommodations within the hospital that we feel at least within should be secure, and trying to fix them up now. So concerned medics as a group came together. There are doctors in diaspora that have come together now to form that concerned medics, headed or chaired by one of my classmates that we started the discussions. And then that's the launch that I told you we had last week. So for this time, 6 of them, including her, came over, and then they're embedded now in our departments, and then they keep rotating. So as time goes on, when they come, they would be with us, learn from us just as we learn from them, exchange skills. But as they are going, some other set will also come. So that's the rotation. Our aim is to reverse, even if we cannot completely reverse the brain drain, but at least we'll have some brain gain. And eventually, those people out of the country that have some misconception about the Nigerian system. Mind you, there are maybe Nigerians who have probably never ever stepped their foot in Nigeria. So they can now come within a controlled, secure environment to understudy us. That will give them confidence to come back in droves. So also, other Nigerian patients that would otherwise travel to the UK or travel to the US to see their doctors there, they'll have the opportunity that one day their doctor will come here, and then they will get to see their doctor here within Nigeria. So eventually it builds confidence both ways, and then we develop our system. And sometimes from these interactions, big collaborations can come in. These people sometimes are heads of their institutions there out in those parts of the world. So by the time they see those opportunities, there will be an interinstitutional collaboration. And before you know it, funding, like in terms of grants, facilities in terms of equipment, big equipment or small equipment or consumables can start coming into the country. That's the long range hope that we have. But I think it's a low-hanging fruit that we are working assiduously on that.
Let's talk about insurance.
Yes.
How much is covered for Nigerians under insurance at the National Hospital? And I ask this because the complaint in recent times is that medicines that Nigerians would usually get under insurance are now neither here nor there. You go today, you don't get it. Okay, tomorrow you may be lucky to get it, which was never the case, through the years. Is National Hospital also plagued by this?
I think almost all public hospitals in Nigeria are plagued by this.
Why?
Good. I'm glad that you've asked this question because I am sure every CMD or every head of pharmacy in a public institution would want what I'm going to tell you to be heard in the country as to the reason. The reason is, NHIS and NHIA is a very, very beautiful concept where Nigerians who cannot afford it should be able to afford healthcare. Healthcare should be much more accessible. Okay, so, but I have this scenario. 2 years ago, if you are to buy Lonat, it would not be more than 150 naira. How much is Lonat now, a common anti-malaria that we use? It's almost 3,000. Right? But the tariff of NHIS, up until just a few weeks ago, has never moved for 12 years.
But it has moved now.
Just, I think, is it 30% or 40%? Is it 30 or 40%?
40%.
So, if I don't have the value, the cost of it, but supposing it was, say, 20, even 15 naira, to, the cost of Lonat 12 years ago, would you have been able to break even if we are still selling at 20 naira or even, say, 500 naira? You wouldn't. Because it's expected that as a hospital, you buy this drug at 3,000. Outside the hospital, they will buy it at, the pharmacy will sell it at 3,100. But then you are expected as a public hospital to sell this drug at 500 naira. You have lost. And then the fact that you are not, nobody is giving you, in your budget, there's no money for drugs. You use it from your IJR, what you have been able to, the bits and bits that you have been able to generate. At the same time, you are battling with the cost of diesel. You are battling with the cost of electricity. We discussed here when you invited me the last time, we were discussing with the vice chancellors when there was a change in, we were complaining about the tariff of electricity. Yeah, when you are currently, for instance, paying 100 million per month on electricity, and you are paying 60 to 120 million on diesel per month, on power alone, you are spending close to a quarter of a billion naira. So it becomes very, very difficult. So also, the consumables that you are using, for instance, let's talk about cesarean section. Dr. Bata, how much do you charge in the hospital? I don't know if you remember.
It's about 250 thereabouts.
That amount. Let's even take it to 300,000. But then the consumables you are going to buy, including the drugs, the anesthetic gases, the whatever, forget about cost of energy, forget about cost of staff salaries and all what's not. Forget about all those. Just the consumables you would use to do this case. By the time you put them together, it will go to maybe close to 1 million naira or more. But you as a hospital is expected, because she is an AIDS patient, that you must do this. But then in National Hospital, I assure you, we do not turn patients. Go and see whatever. Once you come as NHIS, we'll still do our bit.
You still give medications?
We still do.
Regularly?
We do. Because, unless we do not have it.
Because I need to understand this principle. We don't have it for NHIS.
No.
But we have it in the hospital.
If we don't have it, if we do not have it we do not have it. There is no categorization between NHIS or anybody. Once we have medications, if you are an NHIS staff, and if you are an NHIS client, we will give you.
Because this is what I get to hear from colleagues, whether it is diabetes, whether it is hypertension, medications I usually will get. So today, oh, we don't have except you want to buy. So you begin to wonder, if let's assume this is bread.
There are some services. Understand
bread
something.
becomes smaller. If we are able to buy 100 naira bread and it was this big, okay, things are not the way they used to be. The 100 naira bread becomes this small, but not to be extinguished.
Let me tell you something. When you go to some other places, you will see two categorizations: NHIS clinic and regular clinic. NHIS pharmacy, regular pharmacy. National Hospital does not have that categorization.
Okay.
That's one. Two, so when NHIS client comes, we treat him as any other individual, as a fully paying individual. If we don't have it, it means we do not have it to give NHIS client, and we don't have it to give a regular, a fee-paying client. That's how we do it at National Hospital. If we have it, we'll give both of them. But then there's something that people must understand. NHIS does not cover all kinds of services. NHIS does not cover all kinds of medications.
Of course.
Unfortunately, people don't have that understanding.
No, we are talking about the ones that it used to cover and suddenly it's epileptic
But now I'm telling you, and I'm telling you the reason why sometimes these medications may not be found, because you have to, it's whatever it is that you have, that you either use to, you are in deficit already. From what, and then National Hospital has almost like 70% of our patients are NHIS clients. So much so that when they go to some other hospitals around town, they say, oh, is it CS? No, just go to National, you have it almost free.
So are you saying the VIP patients too are under NHIS?
If you decide, VIP patients are not. Once you identify yourself as a VIP patient, you are not under NHIS.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure of that. If people, get care under the VIP, section and then claim to be NHIS. But let's get to Dr. Bata. What's your area of practice? And then let us know, what's been your major challenge working with the National Hospital?
I'm a general surgeon, a chief consultant. We offer surgical services, diagnosis, and treatment. Now, let me start first with, what I as a surgeon would love to see. First of all, it's a patient that have made the diagnosis and then also wanted to operate on that patient, and then the equipments are there, the supporting staffs are there, and then after that there will also be a post-operative, what we call post-surgical treatment, where the drugs will have to prescribe, the drugs are going to be available, and then until our patient gets out of the hospital. That's the dream of a surgeon. Now, over the years, when we started in National Hospital way back in 1999, it was where the things not as what we have now, but then we made do with what we had then, and we were able to see a few patients we had. The equipments were not fully on ground, maybe because it was just for women and children. So we are, managing, trying to put things together to make sure that services are offered. But over the years, we had some of this equipment coming in and all that. Now, there are also, the problem we will have right now, in my area of specialty, is that the same size of the facility we're using for maybe just about few patients far back then, we are still using the same space. We have just 4 theater suites used by virtually 20-something subspecialties in surgery, and we are competing for those spaces. Then we have emergencies will come in. Of course, those emergencies will take precedence over the elective cases. So we now have to wait sometimes. Well, okay, the emergency has to go in. So if I have my 5 or 6 major surgeries I wanted to do for that moment, I have to wait. because there's no other theater space. Now, that's why our CMD was talking about having a modular theater with specific subspecialties in those areas, and that will take the burden off, these areas that we have already been used to. So those are the facility, space. Let me just say space had been just a major problem we have. But then, even with that, we are able to surmount some of these things.
Away from space, is the personnel, is that enough? Because I know that a lot of doctors are complaining in different hospitals that the workload is much because, the staff strength is low. Is that the case with the National Hospital?
Yeah, we have issues with that as well. But, as we are also training residents. So those residents usually, of course, we absorb them into the system. So that increases our staff strength as far as these areas are concerned. But then, with the number of patients increasing, then it's still going to be like, okay, we have been able to achieve this, but then the space widens up again, and then we are still finding ourselves in the same scenario.
All right, we'll talk more about this, but that will be after this break. Please stay with us. The conversation continues afterwards.
My champs, they use energy at school.
Your champs need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast.
It has nutrients that support energy release.
Creativity is so broad. I would say whatever it is that you're creative about, it takes a lot of practice before you become very good. So if it's something you intend to pursue, it's something you have to keep doing. You have to keep practicing. It's not going to be an overnight success, which a lot of people look for. But if it's something you're determined about, but the drawback rather, is that you need what is called staying power. While you're developing your creativity, you need to earn a living. So I know that's where the conflict usually comes in, especially with the hardship in the country and all that. But I think a lot of encouragement from the private sector to create incubator hubs. We've had some of those in tech. We need those across various sectors as well. Incubator hubs where these ideas can come in, be developed, be encouraged, be funded, and then we can expand it from there.
Content creation, while it may sometimes get a bad rap, I think it's actually very important because we have to see ourselves. We have to see ourselves living our lives. We have to show and share our stories. I think that's very important. Now, the job after that is to be able to digitize those stories into something that can provide data and insights, that can ensure that we can be able to support whole-scale industry in these spaces, to ensure that the amount of money that each content creator is getting exceeds what is currently happening for many content creators. The same content creator who lives in Nigeria will be earning less than a content creator who's living in the US or the UK or Japan. And we've got to also bridge that gap because most of that is being driven by the ability of the consumers to pay for those goods, and also the pricing that many of these platforms have. So I think this is not the job for the content creators and the young people. This is a job for people like myself in the ecosystem who can help support the right pricing, to advocate for the right policies, to support economic development for consumers who want to consume that information and that content. And even beyond content creation, we're seeing that many people are stepping in behind the camera. They are producers, editorial, they are graphic designers, they are in technology, but maybe not in front of the camera. And what we want to say is also, we need those people too. We need those stakeholders involved. And the job of many policymakers, DFIs, is to ensure that the strategic investments get there, the collaboration gets there, and we're deliberate in how we're saying we want to support innovation in our continent.
There's an age group where your brain function is at its maximum, and that's the age group we call the youth, isn't it? So we need the youth, the younger generation who have the energy, the imagination to be equipped with the proper education, the proper tools, the proper encouragement, and then take what innovation they bring out and turn it into mainstream developmental ideas. So you find a lot of things that are invented by people in school or straight out of school. We need our patent laws to work so that they can earn a living from their imagination. Once the imagination is just for a one-year festival or an event, then it's not worth it. Somebody creates something, we need to get our patent laws to work, we need to enforce them, and then the private sector can use those patents to develop things and encourage more people to be more creative. Back in the days, yes, you had to be an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor. Today we have programmers, we have AI specialists, we have people that are doing ethics on genetics. Those things didn't exist 50 years ago. So there are new areas that need to be explored. The question really, apart from the parenting, does our educational curriculum cater for what the needs of the world will be in the next generation? Because our curriculum is dealing with the issues of the past. We need the government and the private sector to redo the entire educational curriculum to be forward-focused, not retroactive.
All right, many thanks for staying with us. We've been discussing the 25th anniversary of the National Hospital and the achievements of the hospitals so far. Let me get to the CMD again. I mean, a lot of Nigerians, particularly when it concerns National Hospital, get to complain about the attitude of medical staff, right? And this many attributes to the fact that you have your own thriving private practice. And I'm also led to believe that, unfortunately, that there's hardly a top medical person in public sector who doesn't have a thriving private practice. And they tend to pay attention to this, their private practice, at the expense of the one in the public sector. You seem to agree with me, CMD.
Not really. I will give you a typical thing, a typical example. You know, staff, National Hospital is part of the Nigerian society.
Mm-hmm.
So when you now walk to, say, a certain ministry or a certain parastatal, you are likely to meet the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
So also in National Hospital, we are not immune. These people that work at National Hospital or any other hospital in Nigeria, for that matter, are also picked from the society.
Mm-hmm.
It's a true reflection of the society. So that's one. Two, unlike when you go to some certain facilities where you have some certain homogeneity, people having some certain shared culture, it's easier for me, for instance, if I come and I say good morning to you without smiling. In some other cultures, it may probably not be taken as an offense.
Mm.
But if you are in a melting pot, somebody might come from some certain culture, and if you don't smile at him, you think, oh, wow, I mean, this guy is so stern, so whatever, you understand? So there are some of these cultural issues that you find. And then also one other thing also that affects, okay, because of that but that is no excuse. When you go to some certain facilities that deal with most especially distressed individuals like patients, and part of our training as a medical workforce is to ensure that there is empathy to any patient or any client that comes to you. It's part of our training. So I'm not making an excuse that when a staff does something like this, either at National or anywhere as a healthcare worker, is excusable. It is not. And we do not encourage this. And I assure you, since at least we came into office, the last 1.5 years, we have taken so many of cases of this kind of things.
What have you done exactly? What have you done exactly?
We have taken them to the traditional committee. Some of them we've really sanctioned. Some we have asked to write letters of apology. So by the time one or colleagues see one or two people being whatever, they will sit up. And I assure you, in the last couple of months, there are significant changes.
What's
All right.
You will not
public
eliminate
service?
it. Yes, but let me finish. And then secondly, we were talking about the pressures of work. There's also burnout. So when people leave, and for instance, let me talk about, say, nurses. A number of nurses have left because of the Japan we talked about earlier. So the few that are on ground actually are also overstressed. So also the doctors. But you know, those nurses, doctors, whoever, pharmacists, we are also humans. So we might try to really be professional, but there are times when the humanness in us takes over. Out of stress, you might overreact. So it's published evidence that stress can actually change the
But are you
emotional state of
doing
individuals.
something to ensure that those who engage in private practice do not give more time to their private practice than to the national hospital?
Does the civil service does the civil service allow for you to have private practice while working for government? By the way, I need to be clear on this.
Okay. Let me talk about doctors since I'm a doctor. I wouldn't want to talk about pharmacies, whatever, because I may not be an expert in that. But as for doctors, I'm aware. For a doctor, if you are a medical officer that you are up to 10 years in practice, you are allowed to have to practice outside work hours in a private setup.
Owned by you.
Owned
Or
by
anyone.
you. No, yeah.
Owned by anyone.
Owned by anyone. So that's one. Two, but at least what it means outside work hours. So that means from the time you've closed and also when you're not
Yeah,
on
so
call.
how do you ensure that they deliver within their work hours?
It will be very, very difficult to say, since as either a management staff, you cannot just go to each department. There are maybe hundreds of staff. You cannot go and be whatever. You can only walk through the heads of departments, whatever. But now with the digitalization, that's why we keep track. Now what we have started in National in the last couple of years, and last couple of months, is every month, first week of, for instance, now we are in December, this week, if not for, I'm sure even though we are doing our 55th anniversary, I'm sure the staff we have dedicated to this would do that. They would bring up the data of every staff. That's why it's important to have that electronic medical record you're talking about. It has digital signature of everybody. The time you have clocked, you have seen your patient, and the time you have not, whatever, you have clocked out. For doctors, it's not too important to say, well, there are instances where work from 8 to 4 is important. But it's not that time that is important for doctors. It's the fact that you have seen all your patients. You have reviewed all your patients and on time.
Okay, that's something to
let's get to pharmacists.
So that is being checked using the electronic medical records.
Pharmacist Adeshola, I'd like to know what your experience has been like. You're a pioneer staff. You joined in 1999. Tell us, just like Dr. Bata spoke about his challenges, what are your challenges working with the National Hospital?
It's actually been interesting working with the hospital. And of course,
just imagine your CMD is not here. Tell us.
Can't imagine. It's not fair to start with challenges. I should commend what we have enjoyed.
We're actually ending with it.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's been exciting working in National Hospital for 25 years. Really, not too many hospitals give this kind of a friendly environment. So we must appreciate the environment we are working in. And then we have over the years too seen the development of our practice and of the hospital. So we are glad. Like I said, it can't be without challenges. We are in Nigeria. We are Nigerians. We know the challenges are everywhere. You just mentioned one when you were talking about the NHIA scheme. And my MD has also illustrated with an anti-malaria. The review of the NHI's prices has been really not as we expected. If it was something done when it should, it would have been easier. So we face that challenge of having to tell patients or having to explain to them some of the drugs are not available because they were not covered.
So are some pharmacists running pharmacies outside the hospital where they refer patients to get drugs?
Yeah, some patients, you mean, or you said pharmacists?
Some pharmacists referring patients to go outside to their own pharmacies to get drugs.
That's in fact an offense. If anybody does that in the hospital, among...
But how are you going to find out?
I have heads of units, and it is an offense. Everybody knows. In fact, you would never hear a pharmacist tell a patient, go to this or that hospital. If the drug is not available...
You just tell them to buy.
Yeah, outside, period. And, you know, every hospital has what we call hospital formulary. In terms of drug, we must stock. So when the drug is outside such, of course, they may not have a choice but to go out and buy. And we don't recommend.
So are you saying in terms of your welfare as a staff of the National Hospital, you're 100% satisfied?
Of course, we may not be, and I say may not. If I say I am, some other person.
So let us know some of the issues that you have.
Some of the issues include, for example, our pharmacists that are consultant pharmacists were yet to be confirmed as such. That's the greatest challenge burning in our heart. And then other challenges will just be what every other civil servant goes through in the hospital.
But let me ask you this, because you are a foundation staff, apart from medical service or services, in what way has the National Hospital made Abuja better? And I'm talking about corporate social responsibility, or even if not Abuja as a whole, the community where the National Hospital is sited. What has been the contribution of the hospital to that community?
It's really been enormous. We just talked about the medical outreach. That's giving back to the land, which we did. And the services, various medical practitioners were there in their various specialties to see various patients. The ones we could not handle were referred to come see us in the hospital.
That's for this anniversary?
This anniversary.
I'm talking over time.
Yeah, I'm just citing an example. Over time, we have various professional groups that have their week of activities. These ones to give back to the community. I'll talk about Pharmacy Week, the World Pharmacy Day. We did a match round. We gave out some cheap drugs like paracetamol, vitamin C, that we could afford to the community. We also went to public places where we could give some health talk to make people know what kind of illness are rampant and what to do and where to go when they need medical.
In other words, outside medicines, no CSR.
Don't say no CSR.
It's what they have to offer.
Exactly.
That's a specialty.
Yes, no, but also we employ, more especially junior staff. We encourage as many from
the community. All right.
Something to think about.
As we begin to round off the conversation.
I think there was a few years ago when the federal government wanted to, treat some indigenous patients, and National Hospital was the point where the federal government, started that program. Our staff will go out, examine patients. Those that need further care were sent to the hospital. We were operating on those patients, and quite a number of them over the weekend.
Free of charge. It's a good thing, but I'm just saying that at 25, perhaps National Hospital should think a bit differently and do something out of medicine for community. It
is the service that they offer that they can give, at a subsidized rate or for free.
They earn money.
You expect them to tar roads? You expect them to tar roads?
That's why I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying, think about it. Think about it.
Anyways, I would be surprised if I see the National Hospital tying the road or maybe
doing
something or building houses for anyways, let's as we round off the conversation, CMDR, Professor Mahmood, I'd like you to tell us, what should Nigerians expect, going forward? This is the first 25 years. We're looking forward to another 25 years. What should Nigerians expect? What would the National Hospital be like, going forward?
In my dream, and I think, God willing, from the trajectory of the National Hospital from now, Nigerians are going to see a hospital that will be fully transformed to get to the mandate it has been originally created for it. And that is for it to serve as the apex hospital in not only Nigeria, but in West Africa. We are working towards having systems, strengthen the systems, and also create better systems that would really give a lot of succor and efficiency to, efficiently to the Nigerian citizens and also any of our clients that comes from any part of the world. We are looking forward to increased professionalism amongst our staff in terms of patient-centered care. Our equipment, we are working towards a drive where our equipment will be made into state-of-the-art and new equipment. Now we are battling with some of the equipment that have been there for some bit of time. But with the assistance of government and other stakeholders, the ministry, we are working towards getting some newer equipment over time. So by and large, we are looking forward to having a very, very efficient healthcare system that serves the Nigerian citizens with the highest efficiency, highest professionalism that they would be able to find anywhere in the world.
I would like you to clear a notion. There's this notion that the National Hospital is for the high and the mighty, the bourgeois. Just clear the air. Let us know. Is it that anyone can walk into the National Hospital and get medical care?
As of today, the majority of patients that get medical care, 90% or more, are actually people like me, ordinary citizens.
Not like you, you're not ordinary. What, CMD? Ordinary?
Because let me give you a very, very typical example. Have you seen our trauma center? Who gets to that trauma center? Most of the time are the downtrodden Nigerian citizens who just walk around hawking, who know nobody around. Those are the ones that get knocked by the cars on the streets, and then they are brought to the National Hospital. Every single hour, we have a number of victims.
By the way,
number of them are unknown. Even those that are known, the people that know them do not have the wherewithal to fund their treatment. National Hospital has never rejected any. We treat them from beginning till the end. Within the first 24 hours, almost each of them would give us a cost of, would consume some service that will cost about $1 million or more. By the time they get to the theaters where they will have surgery, they go to ICU, come out, get to the wards. At the time of discharge, almost every week we waive millions of naira. One individual might accrue a bill of 4 million naira.
Well, but I do know as well that you have philanthropists who visit missions, religious bodies and all that, who also come to support once in a while. We've both spoken about that. However, because we are winding down, we just have about 2 minutes. I just want your message on this anniversary to your staff and patients.
Okay. Let me start with the patients, because they are the most important part of this conversation. Without them, National Hospital is useless. Without them, our staff wouldn't be there. They are our heroes. We have taught our students on them, and they have made us better into being who we are as individual medical healthcare workforce. We owe a lot to our patients, and we would strive to do more for our patients. Our message to them is that by the grace of God, we know as individuals we might have our faults, or as an institution, we are working hard towards sorting out those faults and shortcomings to make life for them better when they come to us. They will be self-centered. That's first. To the staff of National Hospital, from inception till now, these are very, very special people. These are people that have shown commitment, dedication, love. I have seen in so many instances where patients couldn't afford anything. The staff contribute money out of their own meager salaries. I've seen where staff have donated clothes from their homes to individuals.
Thank you so much.
I really applaud them.
Thank you.
I think Nigerians need to be need to applaud them as well.
All right, thank you very much. I just hope that your focus on children and women, would still be prioritized now that you're dealing with other areas, because, they are the vulnerable group, and, the challenges with children, and especially maternal and child mortality rate in the country, what it's like and all that. I hope that you continue to focus on that.
Yes, we'll continue.
And disregard the men. All right, so I think that's a fine place to leave the conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor Muhammad Raji Mahmood, Chief Medical Director, National Hospital Abuja. It was a pleasure to have you again on the program. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
And yes, looking forward to seeing a CMD that is a woman after your tenure.
Sure.
I hope that happens. All right, Dr. Cephas Bata, Chairman, Organizing Committee, National Hospital Abuja, Silver Jubilee Anniversary. Many thanks for joining us, and wish you all the best. Thank you. And pharmacist Clara Adeshala, HOD Pharmacy, National Hospital Abuja. It was a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you. Thank you. A pleasure being with you.
All right. Thank you very much. So that's our program this Friday. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ian Ray John. Remain true to the NTA and enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, Ray. I now agree that men are endangered species. But I'm Victor Azo. Thank you for watching. Do have a lovely, lovely weekend.